Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Limerick. The World Masters Ultimate Club Championships continues here as we go to the Open Masters division with Johnny Encore of the USA taking on Devon of Great Britain. My name is Benjamin Rees. It is a pleasure to be back with you, and I am joined for this game on commentary by Etienne Fournier.
Good evening, good afternoon. How are you? Thanks for joining this game. Should be a very exciting game. Johnny Encore from US facing Devon from UK. So Johnny Encore was initially seeded number 1 of Pool B in the Master Division. They have so far 4 victories. They have 4 victories so far. Haven't lost any game. While Devon from UK, they were initially seeded number 5 in the Pool B. They have 1 victory and 3 losses.
So shooting deep on the first point at Devon, and that one is going to sail out of the back of the end zone. It is not as wet as it has been, mercifully. You can see the sun just about bursting through the clouds, but let me tell you folks, it is exceedingly windy. It is certainly something that both sides are going to have to try and work out how to overcome as this game ticks on. So Johnny Encore with their first position, looking for an early break. Not able to get underneath that one and scoop it up off the turf. Mannings with the high release backhand to the back of the end zone. He's caught for Devon as they take a 1-0 lead. Warren with the goal.
Nice scoop before the point. Devon scoring the first point. So let's see how Johnny Encore responds. So Johnny Encore will receive the pull on the right hand side of your screen, and they will go downwind.
Yeah, so the wind is, as Etienne mentioned, going roughly right to left and slightly across the field as well. So that end zone we've just seen is certainly the easier of the 2 end zones to score in. The format of the Masters Open division, there are 4 pools of 7 teams, and the top 4 teams in each pool go into the top 16 bracket. The 5th and 6th place teams go into a little mini bracket there, and the bottom place team plays a round robin. So really the target, I think, for all teams initially is getting into that top 4.
So as we mentioned, Devon from UK has 1 victory, 3 losses so far in this tournament, and their victory was against Gold from Belgium, which they have won 15-9.
Johnny Encore down the far sideline. Nice sliding ground made. You'll see a lot of that on this slick turf here, and then continued into the end zone. Cool and clean as you like from Johnny Encore. I think showing a little bit there why, for many people, they are one of the favourites to take home the title here this week.
So as you very well mentioned, very clean offense execution. 4 or 5 passes max to score their first point, making it a tie game 1-1.
I think the key to how this game is going to play out is not necessarily the downwind offense, which should theoretically be the easiest, and if you ever get in trouble, at least you can huck for field position. But it's if you can get those turnovers, how efficient can you be at working the disc against the wind?
As you very well mentioned, once again, the first point upwind will be key to this game output. So let's see who will be able to execute that first break point upwind. So Johnny Bravo wearing the red jerseys, while Devon wearing the white jerseys.
Yeah, they're kind of white and green striped. There's a touch of Celtic about them.
Amazing pull throw by Johnny Encore, going 75 yards long, upwind.
So Devon's offense goes back to work. Here's Quinn. Tries to find Coward underneath. Thinks about the deep option, wanted to toe the sideline there. Towed in well. Scholes gets it off the line. Devon's offense looking good so far. And now with an ambitious IO shot across the field. It just pops up at the wrong moment. Otherwise, lovely throw to access that space, but it just kept going.
Just love Devon's handlers working around, just small passes and then wangs along, lovely passes, but the wind just picked it up to make it out of reach. So first break opportunity for Johnny Encore.
Low flick. As Johnny Encore try and march upwind for the break. Guys, can you clear out in front of us, please? Thank you. McShane dishes off. Trying to lead that into the end zone. Still not quite there. On the doorstep. And finding the pass into the end zone. Priestler throws the assist. And Johnny Encore made that upwind point look easy as anything.
We just mentioned how important is that first break point upwind, and Johnny Encore making it look very, very easy and clean with great disc movement. About 15 to 20 yards max passes. And they're now leading 2-1 early in this game.
That first upwind break can be so important. And you're just seeing the replay there. Priester finds Gregerson for the goal. And Johnny Encore draw first blood in this game, taking a 2-1 lead. Of course, Johnny Encore, the Masters team of Johnny Bravo out of Colorado in the US. They've also got a Grandmasters team here, the aptly named Johnny Walker. So I very much admire the progression in punnery going on.
Great progression indeed. So now the pressure is on Devon's O-line, which will have to receive the pull and going upwind in order to keep the hold.
Yeah, the tricky thing here is going to try and make sure this pull stays in and doesn't just continue to rip out the back of the end zone. Going for that inside-out backhand. Waited well. Mannings catches the pull. First pass goes to Cooper. Sails, but caught by Todd. Todd wants to go short, but it's low into the turf. Great opportunity to cash in that upwind by banking in the subsequent downwind point. Cantwell picks up. Wants to swing, but the connection isn't there.
Unfortunate miscue by Johnny Encore, which were in a great position of taking a 2-point lead.
Mannings goes central to Coward. Coward back to Mannings. Faking the backhand. Showing it again. Still wants to try and zip that underneath the mark. He's done that well to find Cooper. And then I couldn't quite see what happened on the far side.
I think it was a foot block from Johnny Encore defense.
It was indeed. Good spot, Etienne.
Nice anticipation by red jersey's defender.
Siegel resets around to Schwab. Schwab finds Cantwell. Goes to that inside backhand, and the connection with Crandall isn't there.
Number 10 being a right-handed player, just tried a backhand from his left hand, unfortunately miscued.
This one is ripped against the wind. Take an opportunity with it dying off slightly and acrobatically. Did brilliantly to get the hand there, although just couldn't quite stick the catch with that body control. But a really good attempt from Alistair Todd.
He really gave it all and tried to catch it with his left hand and landed pretty hard, but it's looking good.
Frustratingly, he got it in his hand. He just couldn't stick it. Low, flat, driven down the field.
Nice defense by number 27, who just jumped at the proper moment to put that disc out of reach from the intended receiver of Johnny Bravo.
Robinson read that one really well. In his bio, he suggested that he is 4'1" and has been playing for 17 minutes. Somehow I'm not sure he's been entirely truthful with that.
I would tend to agree with you. Turnover, Johnny Encore threatening of a second consecutive break point early in the game.
Malachek will pick up, known to many as Muffin.
wearing his trademark sunglasses.
Low release break gets to the near side. Looking for a continuation, but it isn't there. Offhand backhand, past the bidding Coward. Gets it to Cantwell. I think stoppage for a foul call. And Cantwell's going to have to take an injury sub.
Unintentional contact. Number 5 will take the spot and put the disc back into play.
Yeah.
For what is another break opportunity. They're about 30 yards away from the end zone.
So Barnett coming in off the stoppage, swings to Malachek, and now the disc's on the far side. Looking central, and that time the bid from Coward is enough to get the block. Mannings gets that disc low, trying to show as little of it to the wind as possible. Nice lead pass there for Coward, who puts it deep. It hangs a little bit, but not a problem. This time, Todd can stick the catch, and then the continuation into the end zone for the goal for Devon. It took them a while, but eventually they punch it in to the hands of Phil Taylor. Johnny Encore had numerous downwind opportunities, couldn't make any of them stick, and eventually Devon get the job done.
And most importantly for Devon, now they will be pulling downwind, so forcing Johnny Encore O-line to work out the upwind in order to put another score on the scoreboard.
Credit Devon for a battling red zone stand there, because they could easily have folded. As the rain begins to lash down a little bit here, just something else to add into the atmospheric equation.
And if I'm pretty sure these players, they'd rather play under that small rain than with the gust of winds that we have experienced in the previous time slot for the previous, that was here on the WFDF YouTube channel, featuring Jinx from Germany against Samsoy from Singapore.
What a game that was. Highly recommend checking out that Universe Point thriller as Lunn puts it deep, and this might hang a little bit, but it is not a problem. Brought down with aplomb by Ryan Morgan. So Johnny Encore's upwind offense looks like it's working fine.
50-yardish long flick, just whipped against the wind, making it seamless. Great put by Johnny Encore with a quick point also on the scoreboard there, ahead by 1, 3-2.
Yeah, Morgan, the receiver for that goal, started playing 22 years ago after not being good enough to play soccer or football in college at the University of Virginia. Has graduated from that a long time ago, played 6 years on truck, 2 on pony, 4 with Johnny Bravo, 4 with Fort Collins Shame in the mixed division, played USA Mixed Masters Beach in 2017, and lists his sporting hero as Christian Eriksen, because the guy literally died during a game and is still playing at the top level. And you know what? That's fair enough. I can respect that. You can probably hear now on the microphone, sorry Etienne, the rain is definitely coming down more strongly.
Well, we're quite happy that he was not good enough to play soccer, because he's a pretty exceptional ultimate player, as we can see on the field today.
Football's loss is Frisbee's gain.
Malachek with the pull.
And that one, I think, is going to land inbounds and just about skim out the back of the end zone.
We can never overstate the importance of a great pull throw, and this was a great example by Malachek.
Coward wants to rip it upwind. Layout just doesn't quite get there from Held. Just needed to take a little bit off that, and it would have connected. As it is, again, Johnny Encore will have a chance to put in the downwind break.
Great disc movement, not allowing the stall to go high, so putting pressure on the defense.
Downey with a high release backhand to the near side. Finds Barnett. Barnett swings, trying to get it off that line. Cheeky little inside backhand towards the far sideline. Siegel tries to keep this up. There was a little bit of a question, but I think call retracted in the end. The game advisor is going to come over just to see what's what.
I think the call is either like he might have dropped it after holding it. So you see right there, kind of loses it.
Oh, I see what you mean.
From my perspective, it would be a turnover.
I agree with you there.
So let's see what will be the output of it. Yeah, it's a turnover.
Turnover stands. Yeah, just ground stretching stuff a little bit on the landing. Lost it on the slick turf.
So Devon looking for a hold.
Cooper wipes the disc and finds Coward, but this is going to go back as there has been a pick downfield. See those arms stretched out wide, right angles at the elbows, indicating that there's been an obstruction downfield. Players from Jinx and Samsui fresh off their marathon game, now clearing the sidelines. Coward, low release, sneaks that one through, and then gets it back from Scholzer. That looks like it's going to be another pick.
And so far, Devon's player have always been open, able to get open on the open side of the mark. So let's see, with the 30 yards remaining to the point, if they can stand it.
So jinking, jiving free as the reset. That might be a foul. Maybe just a little bit of a push-off, perhaps. Coward in discussion with Seagull. There's the rain. And really pelting it down, appropriately enough, in Limerick.
Johnny Encore denies that up the line passes, which just got picked up by the wind. And now it's pouring rain here in Limerick.
And Malachek, with no hesitation, with a howitzer of a backhand. And Priester decided that his only chance was to lay out for it, but he couldn't connect.
Still a good decision by Malachek, who saw his number 42's receiver with a great distance, but unfortunately the wind just made it out of reach. But I believe there was a call, so the disc will go back where it was thrown from.
Hello to everyone watching on the World Flying Disc Federation YouTube channel. It's a pleasure to have you with us here in, I'm trying to think of the right word to describe this weather.
It's wordless.
It is here in challenging conditions in Limerick.
Challenging might be an understatement.
Yeah, we had a nice little period of sun, and then it has very much dissipated now as Coward reads the eyes of the thrower and gets in the way to knock it to turf. Cooper to Coward, there's another pick. Devon need to sort out the spacing downfield because the picks are really slowing the game down.
I believe it's the longest points we had so far, and Devon's still fighting hard to keep the hold and make this game a tie game. The rain seems to calm down a little, but let's not talk too fast.
Yeah, I wonder if we start talking about it, maybe it will go away.
Let's try it.
Cooper takes a second or two to dry the disc. Checked in. Wants to break that mark around. Another pick. Just give yourself a bit of space, lads. Those of you kind of unfamiliar with the rules, picks occur when a defender is able to keep with the player they're marking because someone else on the field gets in the way as that inside backhand is hit to the floor. Now Malachek again wants the backhand. This time he puts a little bit of air underneath it and connects with Downey. Downey low to the turf, just sits that one into the end zone, fielded for the score. Johnny Encore finally get that downwinder that they'd been threatening, and they lead 4-2.
Second break point by Johnny Encore, and still Malachek just going all out, going long. But this time ended into his receiver's hands, with just had with a smooth and lovely little dish pass for the 4th point of Johnny Encore. They're leading 42.
Yeah, just that time after the previous huck kind of zipped away, just took a little bit off this, finessed it a little bit more. There's the earlier layout block. And this was how Johnny Encore got the disc back.
Was that tipped on defense or just popped out of the receiver's hand? Not sure, but
either way, did enough to make sure that Devon couldn't reel it in, and the simplest of passes in the end for the score to Priester.
Johnny Encore pulling upwind.
Gregerson, tall, lean figure, has the discs in his arms, takes a couple of steps, goes for this backhand, and it does find its way back in field. First pass swung central.
Great hang time by Encore's pulling.
Todd comes underneath, and now Todd lasers one through the field. Never got enough elevation on it, and Salcedo was there in the intermediary. Johnny Encore now with the disc. On the sideline, Fiacco, wow, what a grab that is. Conker slides to the turf and keeps it alive. And then a lovely inside throw to follow up. Back to Conker. Again, zipping an inside flick. This time Salcedo's the target. Got that earlier block. Nice dump and swing around the back. Getting the disc towards that break side of the field. Constantly changing the angles of attack. High release backhand to Conker. Conker, I thought he was going to see if he could thread the up line, but instead waits, fires it into Gregerson. And Johnny Encore now creating a bit of separation at 5-2.
Third consecutive points by Johnny Encore. I just love the way they just built at this point. The first 20, 25 yards, they went through them with 2 passes, but once they got into the red zone, they really took their time, being very, very patient in order to secure that third break point of the game. Devon hasn't scored any break point yet.
Ryan Morgan of Johnny Encore is put Milan on his shoulders so he can try and clean the camera lens, and I think that's done a pretty good job of it. So thanks, gang. Teamwork makes the dream work, etc. I think you're seeing just some of the elements that we've been battling here today in Limerick. Up to 2 pitches today for the first time this week. On the pitch beyond ours, you can see Masterclass of Ireland up against Seagulls from Hamburg, Germany in the Women's Masters Division.
There's a ton of action on the field, but there's also quite significant action on the sidelines, as you just witnessed.
A dicey catch at the pool, but I love the confidence. And Johnny Encore are coming down with a bit of zone. Right on the sideline now with Key and Quinn. Quinn to Coward.
Johnny Encore, good zone defense, shutting down the resets done.
But going for the high release backhand, looking to strike deep early. Anderson was the target, but it didn't make it there. Cooper wants to play it short into Quinn. They're really not afraid to play it into the teeth of that cup, and that one is skimmed across the turf. Faking the scuba. I'm not sure if that's going to go in this weather, but at least try and get the defenders moving around, and that opens up the underneath as McShane finds Barnett to make it 6-2. 4 on the bounce now from Johnny Encore.
4th consecutive point by the US team wearing the red jerseys. So as we mentioned, I really love the way that Johnny Encore, the way they play their zone, really shutting down the dump, reset, forcing the player to throw upwind. And of course, since the other defender were aware of that, they really shut everything down, forcing difficult throws for the Devon's handler.
Yeah, they want to make the passes into the wind as difficult as possible while allowing them the more lateral passes, thinking that if we can continue to force them to make these sideways passes without gaining field position, in these conditions, there's a good chance of forcing the mistake.
You're not viewing it on the screen, but they're still working with the camera to try to adjust it. So quite spectacular effort by míle and Liam. So,
I mean, Liam was there. I don't know how much of a help he was being.
Well,
but fair play to him. He's done a lot of stuff this week, so we can let him off.
He made great cheering for Milan. So
valuable emotional support, perhaps.
That's so important when you try to fix a camera upstairs.
One of the advantages of the pole cam is that you don't need to hire scaffolding or a crane or a scissor lift. The disadvantage is that once it's up there and you need to clean it, it causes some other logistical issues. That one is the break around, but the cut wasn't coming.
The stall was very high, so the hander had to try something, so he went around for the backhand, but the receiver was not there.
Yeah, Warren was just on his heels, and now they want to rip it into the end zone, but Mannings was all over it. He'll take his time and walk it to the front of the line. Wind has died down a little bit, and our plan worked because it is no longer raining.
For now.
This one he's leaning back, still wants to see if he can squeeze this flick back in bounds, but it doesn't get the edge it wanted. And it's out of play on the far sideline. Ambitious effort, and maybe with a little bit more outside in shape, it would have worked.
I think it went out of bounds, probably midfield, or even.
That is the risk with those throws that go out of the sideline, is that if they don't come in, you are ceding an awful amount of field position in what is ostensibly the upwind direction. Fiacco looking deep, and his put is on the money this time. Schwab is the target. Devon defender exasperated because he couldn't get there. 4 in a row becomes 5 in a row for Johnny Encore. 7-2 now.
When you defend that kind of team, you say, well, no, they cannot put that backhand upwind 40 yards long, but indeed they can do it, and they did it in a very, very graceful way. So 7 point for Johnny Encore, now leading by 5, 7-2.
Yeah, in a way you feel like, well, we did what we wanted to do and that we challenged them to make the difficult throw. The problem is that they nailed the difficult throw, and as a defender there's sort of a little bit of, well, what can you do?
And still great effort on defense to try to stop that pass, but indeed was a little short. So Johnny Encore with the pull going downwind.
Another break here would take them into half-time, sitting pretty with an 8-2 lead. Very changeable weather in Limerick. Would flummox even some of the best meteorologists. Devon O-line just play it short a little bit. Scholzer wants to rip it against the wind. Brilliant throw. Still not quite in the end zone yet, but on the doorstep. Tinknell, the captain, dishes it short and finds the target of Cooper. There we go. A little bit of bravery in trying to bang it against the wind, and it paid off for Chris Scholze.
When you trail 72 and the wind is up your face, you have to try stuff up in order to remain competitive in this game, and that's what Devon has attempted and succeeded with an amazing backhand pass going about 40 yards long, and after that just need a smooth little dish to secure the 3rd point of Devon's, now trailing 3-7 against Johnny Encore.
Yeah, Scholze did say in his little player bio that we should look for fun throws. I think that
that was.
I think that qualifies.
Yeah, it did. It does qualify. Yeah.
Someone getting a little bit of a lift. I could do with one of those. Although, might struggle to find someone big enough to do the bulk of the work.
Johnny Encore O-line going upwind, which they didn't seem to be too worried about so far in the game.
Nice pull, angles down and lands in bounds. Westbrook dishes off to Salvia. Now here's Lunn. Just going to go back to Westbrook. Swinging to Salvia. Doesn't take the gainer down the sideline. And a bit more circumspect with things. Kolinek. Back to Westbrook. Trying to run some 1-2 with Kolinek there. Going into a different option. It's slow and steady at the moment, just piecemealing their way down the field. Pump fake there from Kolinek. Trying to get Bristow to bite on the mark. Swung around Westbrook, low. Up or down? They say down. I must admit, I didn't get a good look at that, but that does seem quite clearly to be down.
Devon's D-line with a break point opportunity. They're still hunting down their first break point of the game.
Cutter's well marked out downfield. Swing to space to Taylor. And another pick. Stop me if you've heard this one before.
Devon's running a vertical stack.
Coward. I think he wanted the deep cut to go a little bit earlier. Leads him into space. Got him in the power position, but there was no one there to take advantage. Chubb wants to squeeze it into Coward down the sideline. Done well there. Thinking about the hammer. Do it. Oh, he has as well. And it is perfection to Alistair Todd. Bravery rewarded. Devon get a break for 7-4.
He really gave some thoughts to his throw before letting it go, but what a great decision and what an amazing execution with a great hammer throw right into space. And this receiver just had to jog around and clap his hand on the disc to give his team his first break point of the game. Devon still trailing 4-7 in this first half.
So a very tough task still ahead of Devon, who have been noted to refer to themselves at various points as the sexy Devon fish monsters, which I must admit is a brave statement.
There's a lot of ultimate remaining to be played, so Devon, if Devon hangs there in this first half, they can still hope for the victory. Pull throw from Devon, landed out of bounds and a few inches away from a spectator's nose. So indeed, and fortunately, no damage.
Yeah, quite significantly out of bounds, in fact. Not the best pull we've seen this week, but also comfortably not the worst. Conker, oh, he's crazy athletic, but even he could not get that one. That one, wow, the wind zipped it away, but they got it in time. Robinson comes underneath. Just off to Cooper. Wind picking up again. Struggling to find an option. Cooper comes underneath. Up line. No. Eventually at the second opportunity, finds Todd. Got that previous break. Wants to put the into the end zone. And the defender got the signal just in time. And I mean just in time. I like the effort there, thinking that maybe he's not seen it go, so you can sneak it around.
great German idea here. The defender was turning his back against the wind, so wanted just to put it next to the defender in hopes that he will not get around. But you see great awareness by Johnny Encore's defender, making this pass a turn.
Yeah, that turn comes from the communication from his teammates, but that one's just a throwing error. Going for another up line, not this time. And wants to shoot the blade across the pitch. It is so spicy, but someone can handle the Scoville units on that one. Devon playing with fire, and as yet, they're not being burned. Low release, going to require a bid, and the bid's made! Devon break again, 3 in a row now.
What a great catch by Devon's receiver. Just the wind with the disc coming off his back, with the wind up his face. The disc is bladey, but still he figured out a way of catching it with his right hand only. And after 2 dishes later, Devon scoring their second break point of the game. They're now trailing only by 2. 7-5 for Johnny Encore.
Yeah, there's that spicy, spicy blade. But was reeled in and tracked well. And then Ho here just leans on that backhand, and that is a brilliant layout to secure the score from, it might have even been Devon's captain, Tinknell.
Devon's definitely fighting back. They have scored the last 3 points, so the first one being an offense possession, but the last 2 were break points.
Here we go, Devon! Who's going to eat it up, Devon? Robin's hungry! Guns is hungry! Barney hungry!
So Devon starting with zone, but the way they're counting passes leads me to believe that a switch to going one-on-one is not far away. Morgan, they're trying to get a little bit of pace to the offense. Goes back to Bart Watson. Morgan on the far sideline, looking for Watson again, and he gets it again. Watson finds and furrows that inside channel through to Lunn. A few yards out of the end zone now, and Kolinek was all alone, without a care in the world, time and space to make the catch, and Johnny Encore will take an 8-5 half-time lead on Devon, but it could have been so much more were it not for that late Devon fight back.
Flawless execution by Johnny Encore's O-line against this zone defense. Played for the first time by Devon, but still they figured out very, very well, and they secured a halftime. Now they're now leading 8-5.
Yeah, a strong first half from Johnny Encore. They were 7-2 up at one point before Devon mounted a mini fight back to get themselves back into this game. So it is certainly not over going into the second half as we take a short break here while the two teams get some water on for halftime. We'll do the same, and we recommend you stay hydrated at home as well. But don't go anywhere, because the second half of this Open Masters match at the World Masters Ultimate Club Championships here at the University of Limerick in Ireland continues after the break.
Bichon picks up, and they've got a short field. They've got another goal. It's tied up at 12. I cannot believe what I'm seeing
Can
here.
Lola Dam chase that one down? That is a score for Hartlicker Elferkel. Fantastic run by Julia Love.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge.
And we believe that that requires knocking down the paywall.
We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch, and we want them to go viral.
When you become a member, you enable us to improve our working relationships with tournament organisers, events and federations.
And you'll help us to produce live stories for Ultimate fans, and to generate new fans with our enhanced content.
We are a group of Ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts, and we want to bring you coverage on a more consistent basis. We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Ciao ragazzi, support the community.
And subscribe Ulti TV. There's lots of the videos, posting, everything. Check it out. They are the best one. Woo!
If you want to grow Ultimate Sports, become a member of Ulti TV.
Regardez Ulti TV. Deviens un membre d'Ulti TV et fais grandir ta communauté.
Top Ulti TV بالمه eroginkime Ultimate vendromena. Si quieres ayudar a Ulti TV, puedes ser miembro de Ulti TV.
Everyone follow Ulti.tv on Instagram, on YouTube. They've got everything.
Best content.
Like their pictures if you love free speech. Just do it.
We're counting on you.
Bli medlem på Ulti TV.
Became member
of Ulti TV.
Mamma mia.
Contribue au développement d'Ultimate avec Ulti TV.
Like and subscribe, Ulti TV, the best in the world.
We want to grow Ultimate.
we want to grow Ultimate. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We have our signature style 2-camera setup,
With thousands of hours of experience,
and our crew is globally dispersed to facilitate coverage everywhere around the world. We can also scale back our broadcast with just one elevated camera, or scale up with 2 fields, 2 cameras, and 2 commentators on each.
we work with local teams and we all have the same mission, to grow the sport and bring it to new people by providing live coverage and new stories.
Become a member today on our Patreon page.
And fund our work to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories, ideas and live coverage to the eyes of the Ultimate world and beyond.
Encore!
Welcome back to the World Masters Ultimate Club Championships here at the University of Limerick in the southwest of Ireland. Bring you action from the Masters Open Division with Johnny Encore of Colorado, USA, taking on Devon from Great Britain. Ulti TV providing the coverage here on the World Flying Disc Federation YouTube channel. Hello to everyone watching at home, whether you're here in Ireland, whether you're in Devon or elsewhere in the UK, or whether you've made the decision to get up early at nearly 7 in the morning, I think, mountain time in the States. It is a pleasure to have you along. My name is Benjamin Rees, and I'm joined for the second half of this game once more by Etienne Fournier.
So far Johnny Encore took an early lead 7-2 in the first half, but now Devon has caught up, scoring 3 consecutive points to make it now an 8-5 point game. Let's see what's going to happen in the second half, and whoever wonders what the teams are doing during halftime, or they're huddling, talking discussion, or talking tactics, or whatever we need to adjust. Well, actually, Devons were playing football.
Yeah, playing a bit of keepy-uppy, and those of you familiar with Devon will know that that's exceedingly on brand for them. Bart Watson is first to touch the disc. This point for Encore, now down the far sideline. Kolinek faking that flick, doesn't like it, and instead of resetting to Lunn, Lunn continues to Westbrook on this near side with that red brace on his left knee. Going round, this one's going to sail. Watson tips it but can't reel it in.
Break opportunity for Devon to kick off the second half. They had 2 break points in the first half, while Johnny Encore had 5.
A break here would very much make it game on. Fakes the backhand, instead goes flicking to the centre of the field. Dished off to Todd. Bristow clears out. That one tipped, bobbled, potentially a foul here called by Maxwell. And retracted. Or uncontested. Just got the wrong hand signal temporarily there. Here's Todd going up line into the power position, ripping it, and it's read well by Bristow. Past the bidding Kolinek. Bristow looking a little bit flustered, trying to find an option. Wants to send it into the end zone. And Johnny Encore swat it away, and not on their dime.
Devon's building up confidence with their long game.
So that they're not afraid to put it into the wind, stretching the field and working more space for themselves underneath. Here's a deep shot, uncorking the arm. Tracking the bomb downfield is Lunn, and he drops it. That is not on the thrower. That's just a drop, and no one means to do it, but it does happen. Mercifully for Johnny Encore. Morgan just picks it off. This one to Westbrook, flips to Watson. Easy as you like for 9-5.
Offense hold for Johnny Encore, scoring the first point of this second half. Good defense awareness to stop Devon's effort. They were in the red zone, a few yards shy of the first point of the second half, but most importantly, a first break point of the second half. But unfortunately for Devon, Johnny Encore denied them and went the other way to score their 9th point and take a 4-point lead early in the second half.
That's the drop by Lunn, but good awareness afterwards to for Johnny Encore to immediately switch to defense, and in the end the score felt rather underwhelming almost. Although they all count the same regardless.
It's worth noticing that we have a sun break right now. It doesn't happen too often. It didn't happen too often in the last few days, so definitely something worth mentioning. But as we've agreed, we will not talk about the weather, otherwise it might turn ugly in the following seconds.
Is the weather sentient? Look, I know it isn't, but sometimes it does feel like it is. Here's Warren. Puts a lot of air underneath this. Maelstrom of bodies there. Coward rips it down. And rips it down in the end zone for the score. Well, that's one way of playing offense, I guess. Why not just play some 500s, I guess? Put it up there. See who answers the call, and on this occasion it's Coward.
Players from both teams are just laughing out loud about the last 2 points with a few crazy actions and not convenient plays. There was 2 Devon's receiver, 2 red jerseys also defending that disc. As you mentioned, there was a lot of air under that disc. But still, it's a Devon's point. They're 6th, trailing by 3.
Yeah, 2 slightly more unusual scores, perhaps, but
as they say, it's not the way, it's the result that is important.
you will see far prettier points of ultimate that do not result in scores.
Devon pulling upwind. And I might repeat myself, but you can never underestimate the value of a good pull throw.
It's the one thing you guarantee will happen every point. Someone will pull and the other team will have to field it. And the fact that teams don't practice it more is infuriating as Watson unwinds the arm. He's looking for Anderson at the back of the end zone. And Watson certainly had their breakfast this morning.
There was a lot of whip in that flick throw, but the wind just made it out of, not out of reach, but just out of bound, even though it was very, very well chased by Johnny Encore's receiver.
So break opportunity for Dev. But everything's incompacted, in close. Tries a sneaky leading forehand and it works. Todd calls off Donahoe. Upline cut is Fate, opens up the swing into the center, Chubb. Bonneville round the outside. Brilliant grab from Todd under pressure from Westbrook. And Phil Taylor with the drop. I think was just thinking about what he was going to do next. And in this wind, that is dangerous. That is exceptionally dangerous.
You got to make sure you catch the disc before you think of what will be your next pass.
Joe Anderson goes downfield to Morgan. Morgan finds Salvia on the sideline, wants to zing the blade deep, but there's traffic there, and Johnny Encore can't come up with it. Game's got a little bit scrappy. Not in a chippy sort of way, but it feels like throws are being forced that don't need to go, and there's maybe some errors in decision making. Although I appreciate that's a lot easier to say from here in the booth than it is out there on the field.
Many things are easier here in the booth than on the field.
Yeah, that's why I don't go out there anymore.
Nice break pass, forehand.
Ho rips it against the wind. I thought for a second Donahoe was going to get the layout opportunity, but he could never quite catch up to it.
Devon Handler just put it all out in that backhand throw because he knew he was going upwind, so he said, I'm going to fire it up, but a little too much fire. It was out of reach and maybe not enough air underneath the disc. So it's a timeout call by Johnny Encore.
With the Johnny Encore offense looking discombobulated, they will take the opportunity to take the mental reset, and we shall do the same here in the booth, and we'll be back with you very shortly.
The ultimate things in life are free, and we're keeping it that way. Subscribe to keep up with the latest games, tournaments, and community content. Share it with your team and friends, and drop a like to help spread Ultimate to more people. Spread the word, spread the love. Ultimate TV.
Welcome back to coverage of the World Masters Ultimate Club Championships provided by Ulti TV here on the World Flying Disc Federation YouTube channel. Johnny Encore up 9-6 on Devon, bringing the disc in off the timeout, and Watson begins with a cheeky little scuba. Now going downfield and downwind. There's a player wide open on this near side. They're trying to float it up to Westbrook, who reads it well, brings it down relatively comfortably in the end to make it 10-6. And the timeout for Johnny Encore works like a charm.
That was a good payoff from the timeouts. It took them 4 passes to make the point, and it's all started with, as you very well mentioned, a sneaky little scuba from the left-handed handler to break the defense. After that, it was just a story of momentum and flow. So great execution, flawless execution by Johnny Encore for their 10th point, taking a 4-point lead back in this second half.
Yeah, just see it again. Just puts a little bit of weight, a little bit of wear, a little bit. I'll take that again. A little bit of air underneath it. There we are. Got there in the end. Westbrook, the intended target, and brought it down comfortably enough. Well, the disc for the tournament being supplied by the official disc supplier, Discraft, using the Ultra Star, the standard in Ultimate for so long, as the rain reappears.
More likely, some players will put their friction glove back on, which they have probably pulled out when the rain stopped, but they will put them back on.
Deep shot, looking for Coward, is overcooked. Brandon Muffin Malachuk jogs over to the disc. Clearly no time like the present in his mind. He's going to give it a little bit of a wipe.
Out of the 3 points scored in the second half, none were break points, so both teams hunting down the first break point in the second half.
Malachuk fakes the rip with that flick upwind. Fiacco instead. Oh, and the pass from Malachuk just bounces off the hands of Salcido. He'll want that one back. Cooper central, pick downfield. Johnny Encore players imploring their teammates not to give away those under options. Try and force them to put something over the top, although we have seen Coward do that already in this game. Wants the dump off, can't quite find it, eventually gets it through to Cooper. Cooper, oh, this is going to be bobbled. Second attempt, no. It wasn't to be for Quinn. Malachuk picks up, he's got no mark. That feels like a dangerous proposition.
Quick disc movement here by Johnny Encore, gaining yardage very, very quickly.
Just taking advantage of the fact that there are players without marks and Devon's defense in a little bit of disarray, and sneaks that past Coward into the end zone for a goal. By the barest of margins.
We were mentioning both of these teams were hunting down their first break point of the second half. Well, Johnny Encore just did. Their 11th point was a break point. And as we mentioned, I just love the way Johnny Encore moved the disc very, very quickly, not even allowing the mark to set any stall. And it ended up as a break point. So great execution, flawless execution by Johnny Encore. And it all started by a bobbled disc from Devon's handler. So Johnny Encore really taking advantage of this small mistake.
Yeah, against teams of this quality, they can really make you pay for the simplest of errors. But that's what you come to World Championships for, is for that sort of intensity, that sort of competition.
That's why World Championships are so exciting, and everybody wants to play. I was reading that there's over 2,700 players attending this tournament, coming from 27 different countries. So how amazing is that?
Lovely little festival of Ultimate, bringing players, staff and volunteers and their friends and families from all over the world to watch and celebrate. That's one of the nice things about Masters as well, is people with families in tow. Cooper brings it to the front cone and then kicks it away. What did it ever do to him? Faking the flick, thinking about the swing to Mannings. That's where he goes. Now back to Cooper. Cooper to Mannings. Gets emphatically foot blocked. Good Lord.
Number 7 just denying that whipped flick with his left foot.
Jack McShane had Tom Mannings on toast and then almost throws the assist as well, but the Encore receiver just flubs the catch on that occasion.
That was a brutal foot block. I wonder if the disc is not bubbly right now.
It seems to be okay. Certainly the players on the field are happy with it. The most damaging thing there might be Manning's ego. And trying to sneak the pass up line. Can't get it past Snushka. Popped off. Back to McShane. No. Gregerson instead goes into the backfield. Conker wants the around. Instead, open pass underneath is Barnett. Barnett to Cantwell. Cantwell, the lefty, just dishes into the front of the end zone. Another break for Johnny Encore. They could be on one of those runs like they had in the first half when they were able to put 5 points in on the row. This is now 3 on the spin for Encore to go up 12-6.
So we just passed the 60-minute time mark. So for those who are not familiar, these games are going up to 100 minutes with a hard cap. So once we reach the 100-minute mark, we finish the point, and then we add a +1 to the highest score, unless a team reaches the 15-point mark before that. So,
and the speed at which Johnny Encore are going, I think the odds are currently on them reaching the score cap. But you never know. This game could get attritional. Devon could find a way to mount a comeback. Did manage to get 3 in a row at the end of the first half, so it is possible.
If I had any money to bet, so far, as you mentioned, if the trend remains, Johnny Encore is in a position of ending the game before the 100th minute. But Devon made a great comeback in the first half, so let's see if they can do the same thing in the second half. Let's hope for it.
The precipitation has picked up. I'm just trying to think of more creative ways to say it's raining again.
Malacek with an amazing pull.
Goes pretty much right to the brick mark. Funny how that works out sometimes. Now Maxwell uncorks an extra set of a throw and hits Warren in stride for the goal.
Just waiting for confirmation that it was in. Yes, they now are confirming the point for Devon. They got scored on for the last 3 points, but it's their second point of the second half. Still trailing by 5, 12-7.
I'm a little bit surprised we haven't seen more of this going downwind. It's just finding a way to free someone up, get them into a good position. Here's a replay of that foot block from the last point, because why the hell not? You needed some foot block. But with the wind at your back, I'm a little surprised that teams haven't just more kind of sat it out there on the wind and looked for the opportunity to reel in those long puts. You see it, Maxwell thinks about it, decides that he's going to put a bit of air underneath it, sits it on the wind, and hits Warren in stride for the goal.
Amazing pass by the lefty handler. Johnny Encore on the receiving end of this pull, which lands about 45 yards later.
Westbrook breaks towards the far sideline. And they're working quickly, trying to keep the stall count low. Anderson back into Westbrook's hands. He's got the wiry Watson as the reset, but he doesn't like that option. Instead, breaks around again. And the continuation into the end zone finds Morgan. Slick and effective that time from Johnny Encore. 2 points away from victory now at 13-7.
Once again, flawless execution from the red jerseys. Their O-line is so efficient. They have great chemistry, and Westbrook is doing an amazing job as a kind of a quarterbacking this Johnny Encore O-line.
Yeah, you can see their conscious effort. Let's try and keep the stall count low, attack the break side, and if you get the timing of those cuts right, you get that easy, simple continuation. Prevents the disc from stagnating, and everything just seems to be in rhythm and clicking. like a finely tuned machine.
And we saw in the last pass from Westbrook for the point, the stall was getting higher and higher, but it just great pivot foot work in order to give himself some options, and he finally found it for the point. So great handling skills by number 26 Westbrook.
As the heavens open again, Encore pull and try and charge through the wind and rain. Barneville gets the zone look, finds Todd. I'm Devon, I'm not really thinking about playing this short. I want to use the wind to my advantage. Scholze agrees, and it is tipped. But if you don't catch your D's, that's what can happen. As held on to make it 13-8.
Once again, Devon having confidence into their long game, which had paid off many times during this game. In this instance, they scored their 8th point. They're still trailing by 5, 13-8. We are in second half, but there's still plenty of time for a comeback for the UK-based team.
So either we've just become exceedingly popular, or the rain's still getting worse. I haven't worked out which yet.
No, we're all about you. Could be both.
Of course, it's all about you, Benji. Everybody wants to be around you.
I will sign autographs after the game is finished. How about that?
I will ask people to line up for the autographs, please.
It is not the most hospitable. At least the weather's not the most hospitable. The people have been lovely.
The pull coming our way. Landing short of midfield.
Yeah,
Johnny Encore about less than 30 yards away from the end zone.
You can see the wind push that back to whence it came from. Westbrook with a bit of a heater across the pitch and floats harmlessly away.
Devon getting the disc back. Still hunting down their first break point of the second half.
On that far sideline, we've seen Ho jack it into the teeth of the wind before, but this time he wants to go short to Cooper, pick downfield.
I suspect there was a pick call in the back of the stack.
Everything is quite tight and congested there.
Devon going upwind. Johnny Encore shutting down the in cuts, but here's a turnover.
Yeah, that time Lund maybe baited that inside throw so he could then smack it away. Westbrook breaking around Anderson. Oh, this throw floats and was almost grabbed second effort style by Justin Salvia, but it agonizingly was out of reach for him. Devon once more strides the disc to the front line of the end zone. Cooper wants to get home, muscling his way up line with Kolinek on his back. He's able to get the disc.
Johnny Encore's defense putting last man back, denying the potential long game from Devon. They're respecting it, obviously.
Good adjustment and alteration. Maxwell. The lefty goes into the center of the park. There's Robinson for him. And Short finds Cooper. Bidding player was out of position ever so slightly, but is recovered. Maxwell sliding slightly goes to the ground. Devon looking for the break against the wind. And that looks like player down for Encore. It is Andrew Mangin.
We'll see on the replay what happened, but it seemed as sliding, and it might have had some contact over his head. Maybe a little sore neck.
So he's going to take an injury sub, and Bart Watson comes on as a replacement. And there have been worse injury subs I'll be honest. Just going to make sure the disc's okay. And we're back live again.
Johnny Encore with the possession. Looking for an offense hold.
So Watson, who's coming off that injury stoppage, now has the disc in his hands. Nice gainer downfield to Anderson. A little bit of IO shape as he finds Morgan. Back in the hands of Anderson now. Watson on the sideline. Wants Westbrook coming underneath. Cutter slips, or defender slips I should say. As Westbrook finds Watson, wants to lash that towards the back of the end zone. And that was a really nice read early on by Kolinek, because otherwise he could easily have got caught too far underneath it. But as it is, he makes the catch in the back of the end zone. 14-8, Encore 1 point away from victory.
I suspect number 14 was the intended receiver on that, but the wind just picked it up in the air. But still, great awareness by the Johnny Encore receivers, just being alert and unsure that this lands between a red jersey's hand. And that's, as you mentioned, 14 point for Johnny Encore, now having a 6-point lead. So it's getting late for Devon in hopes of a comeback.
So 70 minutes or a little bit over on the clock. Half an hour until the time cap comes in. Looking exceedingly unlikely that we'll get there. But I have seen bigger comebacks than this before, and I will certainly see them again. Whether that's here, I don't know.
Let's see if it happens right now.
It would certainly be one of the stories and one of the upsets of the week.
Johnny Encore pulling upwind.
The formidable bearded figure of Gregerson will pull. Tries to get some air underneath it. Draws towards the centre of the pitch. Devon Field. First pass goes to Barneville. And a little bit of a miscommunication. Jack McShane with a lightning quick layout and a foul called.
From our perspective, it seems that the wobbles to catch the disc, and number 7 just put the disc afterward. There might have been some contact after, but let's see what the output of the discussion is.
Yeah, I think the discussion will be that, yes, McShane got a hand on it, but in doing so, is he coming across the path of Barneville there? I always think if you're not sure, it's worth it to call it, have the discussion, then if need be, you can retract it or come to an agreement. And that's actually what's happened here. Make the call, talk about it between yourselves, and you know what? Actually, mea culpa. Going to retract the call, and then one pass into the end zone. Cool as the other side of the pillow. Johnny Encore take the win, 15-8 here over Devon in the end.
Great execution on the last point. The hander just picking up the disc, going break side around his mark to finish the job and granting Johnny Encore a 5th victory in this tournament, heading towards more likely the quarter, the semis, and who knows, maybe the final.
Yeah, so that'll do it for this game here at WMUCC, the World Masters Ultimate Club Championships, but there's still plenty to come. On our other streaming pitch at the moment, you can watch Ireland's Masterclass versus Seagulls of Germany in the women's division. Masters Women Division action up here next as well, with lowercase against Pumas. Next pitch, our next time slot has Heidi's versus BOD in the Mixed Masters Division. And pitch 2 finishes today with Mixed Masters action, Birds of Paradise versus Comunidad El Oso, while pitch 3 finishes with Women's Masters, Berta versus Saw. Thank you very much for watching OTTV's coverage of the World Masters Ultimate Club Championships here on the World Flying Disc Federation YouTube channel. This broadcast is copyright 2022 of the World Flying Disc Federation. It's been a pleasure to have you along with us here. And for Etienne Fournier, my name is Benjamin Rees, and we will see you on the other side.
Cheers.
We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch.
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, Ultimate TV, the best in the world.
Become a member
and fund our work to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the Ultimate world and beyond.
fáilte.tv